So what is up YouTube? Recently there has been a company that has been talked about a lot because it is going public soon. The company that I'm talking about is called Snowflake. Now the first reason it's being talked about a lot is because it's in a really fast growing industry, which is cloud computing, which a lot of the big companies like Amazon and Microsoft are in. Now another reason it's being talked about a lot is because Berkshire Hathaway and Salesforce have taken a considerably large stake in this company. And Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett, who is considered one of the greatest investors ever or the greatest investor, is usually against IPOs. However, he is investing in this one. But before talking about these points and the IPO details, I'm going to be talking about their business model, their financials, and their management team. So what does Snowflake actually do, or what is its business model? So this company developed the cloud-based data warehouse system. So Snowflake was created to bring three different data functions, including storage, compute, and cloud services into one data cloud system. This would allow corporate users to simultaneously access common datasets for many use cases without latency. So Snowflake has many features. The first one is diverse data capabilities and data volume scalability. The second one is dynamic availability of compute resources. The third feature is secure and governed access to all data. And the fourth feature includes near zero maintenance as a service. And this company has strategic alliances with some of the biggest companies in the world that are huge players in cloud computing. Some of them include Amazon's Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft's Azure, and Salesforce Accenture. And this company has more than 3,100 clients, including 146 of the Fortune 500. And these companies are in different sectors and industries, and some of the more notable ones are Adobe, Dropbox, DoorDash, Electronic Arts, Netflix, etc. So to put their business model in simpler words, the company provides data warehouse technology that helps businesses store and manage data in cloud. And they have a usage-based pricing model. So now let's talk about the financials of the company. So in fiscal 2019 year, the company did around $96.7 million in revenue to $264 million in the fiscal year of 2020. This represents a growth of over 174%. And for the first half of its fiscal 2021, which ended on July 31st, 2020, Snowflake reported revenue of $242 million, which is up 133% from $104 million in the first half of 2020. So let's look at the revenue more closely by looking at Snowflake's quarterly revenue. So for the fiscal year of 2019 quarter 3, which ended on October 31st, 2018, the company had a revenue of $28.7 million. And in the fiscal year of 2020 quarter 2, which ended on July 31st, 2019, the company had a revenue of $60.3 million. And in quarter 4 of the same year, which is fiscal year 2020 quarter 4, which ended on Jan 31st, 2020, the company had a revenue of $87.7 million. And in the fiscal year of 2021, quarter 2, which ended on July 31st, 2020, the company had a revenue of $131.1 million. So the revenue has been growing at an extremely fast rate. As we can see in 2019, quarter 3, which ended on October 31st, 2018, the company did $28.7 million that quarter, and now they're doing $133 million in this quarter. And this company's revenue is growing at triple digit rates. Now, this may or may not be sustainable, but I do think over the next 5 years, the company will be able to grow at a 50+% rate. And one reason I do think it could grow at 50+% rate is the global cloud computing market size right now is $371.4 billion, and by 2025 it's expected to grow to $832 billion. And around 2030, this industry is expected to do around $200 billion in revenue annually. Another reason why I think Snowflake can continue to grow at these extremely fast rates is because of their competitive advantage. So one advantage this company has is it leverages the industry standard SQL query language. So some solutions like AWS Redshift use PostgreSQL instead, and this restricts their adoption as SQL is the most widely used language for data warehousing. So if an enterprise is already skilled in SQL, they don't need to reskill their teams to migrate to working in Snowflake. Another competitive advantage Snowflake has is its unique architecture. So most traditional warehouses have a single layer for the storage and compute, while Snowflake has a different approach as they separate the storage data, the layer where the data is processed, and a third layer where it is consumed. And this is a very competitive industry as there are big web companies and other startups, One of the more popular cloud data warehouse solutions are AWS Redshift. There's also Google BigQuery, Azure SQL Data Warehouse, Alibaba Cloud Compute, etc. So now let's talk about the financials again in terms of earnings. So in the fiscal year of 2021, the first 6 months, the company's net losses were $171 million, and this is slightly down from the $177 million in losses during the first 6 months of the previous year. So this isn't a profitable company as they have to spend a lot of money on marketing and they also have to spend a lot of money on research and development. Now that we're done talking about the revenue and earnings, let's talk about their balance sheet. So Snowflake has around $1.437 billion in assets and $673 million in total liabilities. Now that we're done talking about the company's financials, let's talk about the forecasted market cap and also more of the IPO details. So a few days ago, the IPO was expected to be around $80 per share. This would give the company a market cap of $22.3 billion based on the latest shares outstanding count. However, now it seems like the company raised its price range to $100 and the number of shares sold is still unchanged at $28 million, and this gives a valuation of the company at around $30.5 billion, and it will help the company raise around $3+ billion when it actually becomes public. So now let's talk about how Berkshire Hathaway and Salesforce Ventures is purchasing $250 million of stock at the IPO price in a concurrent private placement. And Berkshire Hathaway is also buying 4.04 million shares of Snowflake from a current investor in a secondary deal. This puts Berkshire Hathaway's stake in Snowflake at around $550 million, and Salesforce stake is $250 million. The investment from Salesforce Ventures isn't that surprising as they've invested in many companies this year, including DocuSign, Zoom, and Twilio. And these all IPO'd in the recent past, and they are really fast growing businesses. So Salesforce investing in Snowflake wasn't that big of a surprise. The bigger surprise was actually Berkshire Hathaway investing in Snowflake, as Warren Buffett has clearly said in the past that he does not like investing in IPOs. Now, the exact reason behind this move isn't stated, but it seems like this move wasn't pushed by Buffett, but was rather pushed by another executive in Berkshire Hathaway like Todd Combs or Ted Welcher, as they will eventually be managing Berkshire's enormous investment portfolio. Now let's talk about Snowflake's management team. So the CEO of Snowflake is Frank Slootman, and he served as the CEO and president of ServiceNow from 2011 to 2017. He took this company from being around $100 million in revenue to about $1.4 billion. ServiceNow is also in the cloud computing industry, and this just shows that he has a lot of experience in this industry and in cloud computing, and he's able to actually grow business as he took his previous business where he served as CEO from being $100 million in revenue to about $1.4 billion. So now let's talk about whether I'm buying the stock or not. The valuation for this company is kind of high, especially when you consider its revenue, but it does make kind of sense as this is a growing industry and it's growing extremely fast, and this company is actually growing at triple digit rates. And I am bullish on this company and I will be buying the stock when it does IPO. Now there are a few reasons why I'm bullish on this company. The first reason is the company is growing at triple digit rates right now, and it will probably continue to grow at 50+% rates in the future. The balance sheet isn't great for this company, but it does seem pretty solid as well. And the company does seem to have a competitive advantage over the other. Now, even though they're not profitable, it's not a major concern for me as the company is focusing on growth at the moment. Now, a lot of companies do this and they focus on profitability at a later stage, and I do think Snowflake will do the same. Now, my only concern for this company at the moment is the amount of competition in cloud computing. However, it does seem like Snowflake is in its own niche in this industry. Now, once I do buy the stock, I will be holding for the long term, and I will be adding in the coming months. Now this is a long-term hold for me, and I'll only be selling unless there is a huge change either in the industry or the company. These are just my thoughts on Snowflake right now. If I did miss something, I will be addressing it in another video. So if you guys liked this video or found it useful, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also comment down below your thoughts on Snowflake. And thank you for watching.